Hello and welcome to Baatcheet with Cafemutual. I'm Ridhma Bhatnagar. Today we have here with us Chirag Mehta, who is the CIO of Quantum Mutual Fund. Hello Chirag, pleasure to have you here.
Hi, Ridhima. Thank you so much for having me.
So I would start by asking you, what are the key trends, macro trends of the Indian equity markets?
So, if you see, Indian markets are on a very good footing from a macroeconomic perspective. So, if you see, our growth rate has been closer to 6.5, 7%, which is a very respectable growth rate in today's world, where the global world is slowing down. So, overall, that translates to a very healthy growth for sectors around. So, these trends drive in terms of the incomes of people. And if from a per capita GDP, we are on the cusp of a high growth trajectory because we have seen when many countries move past the 2,200 per capita GDP mark, we have seen growth accelerate from there on. Another helpful trend is government spending. Government spending have been very, very robust. They are doing a lot of capex that has led to increase in consumption, and that is one of the factors that has been driving growth overall. So we are reached a stage where consumption and capacity utilization have reached a higher trajectory, and from here on, private capex may kind of move forward. So that is going to be a very interesting thing to watch for from a macro perspective. So overall, we think that we are on a very good footing from a growth perspective. Inflation has been benign or reducing over a period of time, and all that bodes well for investments. All that bodes well for savings for consumers. And therefore, we think that Indian markets will continue to grow at that good trajectory of 6.5% for years to come.
That's quite hopeful. So moving on, what will be the sectors which will benefit with these trends?
Yeah, so there will be a cascade effect on many sectors in the in the economy because the growth has been very, very broad based. But from a vantage point, we think that sectors like banking and financials, they stand to grow from the credit growth that we see coming for banking banks overall. So private banks in particular, we think are very well poised to grow. Another sector that we like is IT. IT as a sector, because if you see the software exports have been growing, people talk about that, there could be slowdown in spending if there is a slow recession in the global world. But we have seen that when there is a recession, there is a focus on cutting cost. And if you have to cut costs, there has to be, offshoring to countries like India, and India stands to benefit from that as well. And third sector that we like is consumer discretionary, and within that, particularly autos, two-wheelers and four-wheelers and auto ancillary pack overall. We think that that has great driver. The penetration of, say, four-wheelers is very, very low. As rural economy picks up, two-wheelers can grow significantly. So overall, we think that there is a lot of tailwind for that sector as economy kind of expands, as people incomes go up. There will be a lot of discretionary spend that comes in, and therefore auto as a sector will benefit significantly. So these are the three sectors that we like: banking and financial services, IT, and consumer discretionary, especially autos in that.
What effect will events like elections and global conflicts have on the Indian equity market?
So we think that Indian economy per se is very, very internally focused economy, right? Around 65% of the economy is consumption, is domestic consumption. We are very, very less linked to the global world. Our exports are very, very low. And therefore, from that perspective, there's only room to grow. There's no room that it can impact us in a significant manner. So we think that all these geopolitical events and probably what we see from a political standpoint may not affect us because we are not that linked to the global world. So from that perspective, from a domestic standpoint, we are very good to go. We have good growth tailwinds, and I think we'll continue to grow. Global world can only help us grow further because of the capital flows that can come chasing growth in Indian markets, and that's going to be a significant leap forward for our economy. So as we've seen, even if there is $100 billion of bond flows that come into India over a period of time, every year I'm talking about, that could lead, if channelized well, that could lead to a 1% higher growth rate for the economy. So there could be many tailwinds that we could see. But from a domestic standpoint, local elections, foreign elections don't matter so much for us. If at all, if it becomes favorable, it could help grow us faster.
That's indeed hopeful. Thank you for those insights, Chirag. Pleasure to have you on this edition. That was all from my side. And see you in the next edition of Baat Sheet with Cafe Mutual. Thank you.